Key number 7 in my series on keys to health is caring and sharing. And I believe that this desire to care for others, to be unselfish, whether you're a mother caring for your little one, putting your children first, or as in my case, I feel called to help foreigners. I do care for them. In fact, I love them. I've come to know them. And so I share some of my time and energy. And I believe it brings healing to my body in some funny way, and my spirit and my soul. To illustrate how important caring and sharing is, I'm going to tell you 4 stories. The first one is the story that Jesus told of the rich man and Lazarus. The rich man had as much to eat as he wanted and more, and the poor man would long for crumbs from his table. And they both died. The rich man went down to hell, and the poor man, Lazarus, was comforted at Abraham's side. Jesus doesn't tell us that the rich man was particularly wicked and that's why he went to hell. And he doesn't tell us that the poor man did anything good. In fact, neither of them did anything in the story. They just lived their lives. But the difference, and the reason I believe the rich man went to hell, to torment, everlasting torment, was because he did not care and was not prepared to share. And Lazarus, well, he went the other way. We don't know whether he cared or shared, but he wasn't in a position to, really. The next story is also a story about a rich man. His name was William Banting, and 160 years ago, he published a little booklet called Letter on Corpulence, addressed to the public. And this short booklet contains the story of his journey with being overweight and how he found a key to that. But his desire and his heart was not to keep the information to himself, but to share it with others who suffer from a similar condition. And he probably also had diabetes, and we can learn so much from his story. And that's why he's my health hero number 1. And on my website, thegoodway.org, on the story of William Banting, my number 1 health hero, you'll see I've actually got a link to, so you can read the original words that he wrote and published. He said right at the very top, this sort of strap line, he said, "This letter is respectfully dedicated to the public, simply and entirely from an earnest desire to confer a benefit on my fellow sufferers." Sorry, on my fellow creatures, in other words, other human beings. And so he cared for others and he shared. The last 16 years of his life he was honored, and he was just very grateful that he had an opportunity to use his wealth to distribute this truth. that he had discovered that brought him such comfort and healing and health. A friend of mine named Leon, he had been through a terrible divorce and other trauma, and he was at a state in his life where he was depressed and not well at all. In fact, he was so traumatized he could not read his own handwriting. And yet, he was invited and asked by another friend, a missionary, to join her on a missionary journey to Lacoma Island and Malawi. And he agreed. And after 3 weeks of giving of himself and sharing, he came back. He could read his own handwriting. He was no longer depressed, and he felt better and looked better. So the I disease, me, myself, and I are the disease that I think is what causes our sickness in body, in our souls, and our spirits. In John 3:16 we read that God so loved the world that he gave. Love results in sharing, caring. Love is what we're made for, hardwired for. And as we live out our lives, the selfishness that tends to creep in so easily, the only way I know of it being overcome is by caring and sharing.